The content you're about to hear is a part of a paid programming segment. The views, opinions, and statements expressed belong solely to the sponsor and do not reflect those of Podcastic or its host. This segment is for informational and promotional purposes only and should not be considered as advice or endorsement. Listener discretion is advised.
Check, check. 1, 2 for the mind state. Dez Cortez and Emory Law. Welcome to the show. Y'all tuned in now. Hit record, time to make it real. This that one show, mentally ill. We don't hide, we just chill. We say the kind of things that you feel. Raw talk from the couch to the curb. Every dark thought from the city to the burbs. From panics on Bel Air, we even picking up calls. We unpack it all, no mask, no filter at all. Dez say, how you been? Low say, man, where I begin. From meds on the sink to nights you overthink. We drag it to the light, let it blink.
This is mentally ill. Say it out loud till it pop like the steel. We ain't running from the pain, we real. Every scar that you hide, we reveal. This is mentally ill. Talk that truth, let the shame stand still.
What up, though? And welcome to another episode of Mentally Ill with Dez and Emory. I, of course, am Dez Cortez, and usually to my right is my dog Emory Law, but today he out. Of course, you know he filming again as it goes, man. So we back and forth doing the filming thing. And he's actually out of town, or will be out of town shortly. So shout out to him and his new project. My dog, he out. And we also, of course, we got the voice in the darkness way back in the background today, because today is a very, very special day. Because I really want to be about what I say. So as I'm coaching people to get therapy, to get a psychiatrist, to do this and to do that, to seek a professional, I want to show them that I'm doing that also. So today, which will be a treat for everybody, is I have my mental health doctor here with us, and she'll be letting us know so many different aspects of things that we want to know about, but we need to hear from someone who's a professional. So I'm very, very happy that she's on. We're going to hear about all sorts of different things, and I'll let her do that. But without further ado, Dr. Marquita Thompson, how are you, Doc?
I'm well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, man, this is a huge blessing for you to be here. And I'm just excited about what people are about to hear. And even before we do that, let me start by saying thank you to you. I don't know how many years we've been working with each other, a couple, but the changes that have happened in my life and the changes that I have made as a person, it's night and day. And a lot of that has to do with the information that you would give me, the way you would treat me as a patient, and just allowing me to understand who I was and what was going on with me. So, Doc, I want to just start by saying thank you so much for what you did in my life.
Oh, you're welcome. I mean, you're so very welcome. I'm glad to be here. Glad to do it.
Good. Let's start off. Can you, before we dive into, the actual mental health aspect of everything, why don't you tell people a little bit about you first?
Well, I've been in the mental health arena for almost 30 years now. I started off as a registered nurse working the psych units, and working in a psychiatric hospital. I did a little bit of ER, did a little bedside in the hospitals, and then I transitioned to mental health because I knew that's what I wanted to do initially, even before I finished nursing school. I knew I wanted to be a mental health nurse. You know, so
So,
I started way back in '98.
98. And, so you started working in the psych ward.
I started working, it was initially on a med search unit, and then I moved to an ER, and then I started working in a psychiatric hospital.
Okay. I don't want to go deeply into it, but can you just give us a example of how your day would be, or something that happened at work that would kind of show us the type of atmosphere that you were dealing with?
In a psychiatric hospital, it was a closed unit, and typically everybody on the unit had some type of issue why they were hospitalized. Uh, Either they had a history of mental health or they had their first mental health break. Um, that could have been an attempt to suicide or a psychosis. When we say psychosis, that's hearing voices or seeing things that are not there, or having some type of delusion, which is a false fixated belief. It could be a paranoid belief, uh, any type of fixated belief that was not really based in reality. Okay. So we would see these type of patients on a mental health ward at the psychiatric hospital. The typical day would be for a patient on the ward would be that they would get up and we would have them do their activities of daily living, which would be washing up or taking a shower, getting themselves together. And then they would receive their medications, go to a group therapy or an individualized therapy. And they would probably have several sessions throughout the day while they're hospitalized.
Okay, and
Now, that's
are
very different.
are they like separated from what they're suffering from? Like if someone is suicidal, are they separated from someone who may be wanting to kill people? Like, you know what I mean? Like, or are they
A
all together?
homicidal, active homicidal type personality. Um, yes, they were separated if they were deemed to be a danger to themselves or a danger to someone else. They may be separated, if, especially if they were a danger to someone else. They may be separated. But if they were suicidal and actively suicidal, then they may be. We may have them on what we call a one-to-one, meaning a staff with them at all times, watching them to make sure that they stay safe.
It, like hearing this experience, and I would think like most people would run from that. You know what I mean? Like, most people be like, I don't, that's not where I want to work. That's not what I want to see every day. But you embraced it, and like you knew exactly that's like what you wanted to do and deal with. So like, what was it that like triggered that?
I think I have to go back to an instructor in my experience at a psychiatric hospital that was present and open during the time that I was in school. It was part of Herman Keeper Hospital, old hospital. It was an asylum. We called it DPI. And my mentor, the person who opened it up to me, was Mary Sheffield's mother.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's
Our current
cool.
mayor, she was a psychiatric nurse.
What? That's
Mhm.
see, man, that's crazy. Who would have ever thought? Wow, but
Yes.
that's pretty cool. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So what? When let's jump to your practice. How many patients have you seen over the years? Like, do you have an estimate of maybe
Oh my, ah, thousands,
thousands? And
thousands.
it is it mostly the same things, or is it like every single person is a little bit different?
Every person is different. There is no person alike. Every person is different. They come for a different reason. It may be similar, but it's not the same. You know, their experiences are different. Every last one of them.
Okay, so let's let's try to take it back. Let's take it back to when we first met. My first meeting. How long it take you to know that I was crazy? Like, how long did it take
I don't use that word crazy.
you? I'm joking.
I don't think
No, I'm
anybody is
joking.
crazy.
I'm joking. I'm joking. But just
But typically, a person that comes to seek out services for my services, because I do mental health and medical, they they come to me when they've hit rock bottom.
mm,
Because face it, in the Black community, mental health is a stigma. It's still stigmatized, highly stigmatized.
yeah.
So they've tried everything before they've gotten to me and say, okay, I think I might need some medication. I don't know. Maybe I need to ask somebody for them to figure out whether I really need it or not. You know, so those are the type of people that come to my practice, the ones who really, either they hit rock bottom or they're trying to figure it out, whether
Yeah.
they've hit rock bottom or not, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know. Like, and when I came to you, I came to you after I got a brain scan. I remember, but I got the brain scan just because I just knew something was going on. Like, I just thought for sure that I wasn't like normal people, that something was going on with me. And then once I got the brain scan, they were able to tell me a lot of different things that was going on chemically, and areas that were interjecting and different trauma and different things like that, which helped me in the long run, because it helped me for it not to be like me, like it wasn't like it was because of something that I did, it was felt like more so now it was because of something that I have. So I don't know like if that would help others, but for me it was like a breath of fresh air, really, that I could really understand that something else was wrong. Like, it really wasn't just like me from, or just me being stupid, or me not doing certain things. So, that was a blessing for me to know. How are people when you diagnose people? What are the normal ways that they react?
Um, there's a couple of different reactions that could come. Sometimes people come and they think they have one thing, and after completing an evaluation, come to find out it might be something totally different than what they thought it was. Because I am looking not just at their mental health, but their medical health. Some medical conditions can cause you to have symptoms that may mimic mental health issues, such as fatigue and low mood and irritability. There are medical issues that come into play that could affect your mood, energy, sleep, concentration, focus and attention, anxiety levels. There are medical conditions that could contribute to the decline in those areas. So, what I do is I blend the medical and the mental health, and I rule out that you're not having a medical issue. that could be contributing to your mental health issues.
Yeah, and that was good for me to also know too, because of course I was suffering from Crohn's disease at the time, so I was definitely getting, anytime you get an autoimmune disease, ain't no telling like what's about to happen. So I was having all these different symptoms and different things like that, and it was just good to understand like the things where it just felt like I wasn't fighting with them against me. It felt like more so I was myself fighting against these outside things that were coming in or whatever, or things that I could get rid of, or, ways that I could help myself. So it was a little different for me. But it was a blessing to hear that from you also too. And it was a blessing to have you, because with you being able to show me the two and how they go together, it helped me understand myself and my situation a lot. So thank you for that. So a few things, and I it's a ton of questions that I want to ask. I have a few highlighted, but it's tons of them. But one thing, personally, like, do you take your job out into your personal life? Like, when you're talking to someone or when you meet a new person or anything, like, do you automatically go in and like diagnose them?
Psychoanalyze.
Yeah, do you do that?
I really try not to do that.
Okay. Yeah,
When
but
I'm off work, I try not to do that. You take your experiences with you, and sometimes you're more observant than the next person about anything that's going on. But I try not to psychoanalyze people in my day-to-day life.
when you like, if you like see someone and let's just say someone has a bad attitude or something is happening, like, do you go and understand like what that person is going through, or or think about what they could be going through and treat it differently than maybe another person who might argue back or something like that?
Uh, Most definitely. I try not to prejudge someone. Um, yeah, when someone is having, might just be someone is having a bad day.
Right.
Why they have a attitude, or what you say, having issue at that time, that doesn't signify a mental health disorder. Just be a bad day.
Just a bad day.
It could be just be a bad day.
I understand. I have a few of those. So, okay. The people who are struggling to admit that they're having some challenges, or the people who might not want to talk about it because of the stigma and how they will be maybe seen by their loved ones or others around them, what can we tell those people to help them seek help?
They're not alone. Not at all. Um, the prevalence of mental health disorders, as far as nationally over the lifespan, 50% of Americans are going to have some type of diagnosable mental illness throughout their life. So it's very prevalent. Yeah, they're not alone.
That's important. And I do see how it's getting a lot better for people also with how you do your meetings. It's also private, like they don't have to be seen going somewhere. Like if your office was at Herman Kiefer still, like, people would be like, I don't necessarily want to be seen pulling up.
Walking into the psych hospital.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
I heard some stuff about the other side of Herman Kiefer too. Like that's where you go when you. So there's the whole
Yeah.
stigma of that. But all right. So how important is it? Like, how important is it for someone to understand what they're going through mentally? Like, do you think that a person who's struggling mentally can get by just on, let's just say, a positive attitude? Or do you think it's very important that they know, understand, and figure it out that way?
A positive attitude always helps. Being hopeful always helps because that is, the total opposite of being hopeless. If you're hopeless,
Mm-hmm.
then we have further to go into getting you hopeful. you know
Gotcha.
so a positive attitude is, those are the optimal behaviors that you want to encounter. But when they're at their lowest, when they're not in that arena to where they feel so hopeful, you know um, there's always help. There's hotlines, there's people out there. You can Google for help. There's now, we have numbers for texting. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't want to talk to someone on the phone and you feel like you're in crisis, there's the crisis hotline. There are people in the community that can help. There are family members that are going through similar issues that you're going through. Maybe you can talk to those people if
Mm-hmm.
you don't feel like you can fully come forward. But it's totally private. These sessions are private. No matter where you go, they're going to be private sessions. And you don't have to worry about your information getting out or someone knowing
Mm-hmm.
that you're seeking help. So never be afraid to seek help. That empowers you.
Yeah, man. Like I know there's a lot of people who are, scared to seek help or whatever, but at the same time, I believe we get into a point where people are starting to see the positives of it. Like you got singers and you got actors, you got sports professionals who are all coming out and saying, yeah, I get therapy and I was suffering from this and I suffer from this and suffer from that. So I kind of think, as you said, the more people who come out, they understand that they're not alone, the more people who would be willing to, do that. And one thing also too, you're in a place where every day, all day, you are, as you said, listening to a lot of people who are at their lowest. So you've heard tons of bad stories. Just some of the worst things possible that have happened to people, I'm sure. How do you keep that from affecting you daily? Like, how do you not take your work home? How are you able to separate from those stories and those understanding of what those people are going through?
Well, self-care. We all need it. I absolutely practice self-care. I have things that I do to keep myself grounded. I'm from a large family, so my family helps me keep me grounded.
Mm-hmm.
You know, um, you know, uh, there are so many things that I am into that bring me joy.
Mm-hmm.
And I see myself as helping these people, so it does not take me to that negative place that it would others if they were to constantly listen to the negativity.
Gotcha.
My job, my calling, this is my ministry,
Mm-hmm.
is to help people. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so that's what I do,
Labor
and
of
I love
love. That's beautiful. Because, it has to be tough. I mean, that's why I don't watch the news. Like, I don't want to hear that, feel that, you know what I mean, and take that with me throughout my day. It's just how I am. But people have no idea what you have to go through mentally. Like, people never think about that.
Yeah.
And that's admirable that and you kind of got to fight it by yourself a little bit sometimes. Like I said, because people don't understand, but just to have that and be able to do that and still be able to help people, that's pretty huge in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like that's doctors, that's the need of the doctors to me. You know what I mean? Because it's not too many people who could. That's for sure, for sure. So you definitely called because it just got to be tough. You know what I mean? Like it just has to be tough. That's from me seeing outside. You know what I mean? And just even just I don't even like once my movies are over, if I'm playing the type of character that's down and out, but like I don't even want to even see that character no more. I never watch those movies again. You know what I mean? Like I try to stay so much away from it, but for you to actually jump in that fire for people to help them get out is that's very, very admirable. People never think about that. So we talked about the people who are scared to see you, but what about those people who are like using it as like I guess a excuse, I would say. People who use it as an excuse, because I know I have before. Like I've been like, I can't pay no attention to this fool. I got ADD. You know what I mean? Like it is no way. So I know that I've done it before, and I'm seeing people do it a whole lot more. But what about those people? What about those people who always say what they got and want to use it as some form of help? I guess I would say.
Well, I do a lot of reality orientating and asking my patients, let's have realistic expectations here. What are you expecting out of this? What are your expectations? Let's make sure it's real. And also, um, uh, I have to discern whether this is denial or not. If a
Mm,
person is actually denying and just going through the motions of, okay, they said I need a doctor. I'm going to get a doctor, but I'm really not convinced that this is what's going on. You know, it makes the treatment a little bit more difficult when there's a lot of denial there, when the expectation is really not to get better, but just to
got you.
go through the motions and, just to have it on paper.
Got you. All right. So I'm sitting at the house. I'm having some issues. I don't know exactly where to line. Like, what are a few things that people like if they get to this certain point, if they start feeling this way, if they start saying this, if they start thinking like this, like what are, and I know it's different for everybody, but what are some of those areas where people should stop and say, okay, maybe I need to find a professional? What are just some of those little things that people may not think about that might be indications that they need to seek help?
So there's a number of things that may like move beyond what might be just, some sadness here or there. If it's lingering on and it turns into more despair, hopelessness, I don't want to live, or I'm feeling suicidal, or what if I was not here? Uh, what would that be like? Those are despair like thoughts. And then if it goes too long, then they start having more issues with anxiety or anxiousness, excessive worry, that thinking. Can't cut the brain off, or sleep issues. That's a big one. Probably about 90% of the patients that come in have sleep issues. They can't go to sleep or they can't stay asleep, or they have frequent wakenings throughout the night and are fatigued throughout the day. And we know that if you don't get good sleep,
That's
what
it.
type of mood you're going to be in the next day. And if that's consistent, okay, now we got a problem.
Yeah, I mean, in this, even in spiritual practices and everything, that sleep is like one of the most important things. Period. Like, I I think they said like if you don't dream or if you don't sleep, like you could die before you die of water or die of or die from eating or not eating or something like that, or you could go psychotic if you didn't sleep and didn't dream a certain amount.
Well,
So.
if you do not sleep, just imagine being awake for 3 days. You start having hallucinations. You start getting paranoid. On hyper alert status, you start acting really strange. So your body needs to shut down. It needs to recover. And it does that in sleep. If it cannot recover, you will start having some issues.
Yeah, I know tons of people who say that they never sleep. I know friends who have sleep apnea who, man, it sounds like they dying every time they fall asleep. Like it's crazy. Like I just can't imagine. I'm blessed. Like when I get to the bed, I'm tired and like it doesn't take long, and I can stay up if I want to also too. So I'm very thankful for that. But I do understand without sleep, like there's really nothing that you can do. But there's so many people I know who suffer from that, and all they
Yeah, and
do
it can lead
is
to a lot of medical issues, a lot of
yeah.
medical high blood pressure. It can lead to a lot of medical issues down the road. Ulcers. Um, it can lead to a lot of medical issues if you do not allow your body to shut down and your
Mm,
brain and your body to recover. That's what sleep is for.
yeah. People don't understand that, but we were always taught differently about like people never really told us the power of sleep or how or the importance of sleep when I was coming up. That wasn't a thing at all. It
Yeah,
was basically
was.
like if you could work 3 jobs and sleep for 4 or 5 hours, then Godspeed. You know what I mean? Like people never really took that into consideration or as something that's so well needed. They think about it as sometimes even a waste of time. You know what I mean? They feel like they could be doing something else that could be either getting the money or doing something different. And I think that's very important that more of our people understand the importance of it. Because I see people every day like that person needs to go to sleep, like something, some type of rest, some type of something, like daily.
Hmm.
Do you believe like people can sincerely like really really change? Like they say an alcoholic is always an alcoholic. They say if you got depression, you're gonna have it for the rest of your life. Do you believe that people can really really change and jump out of it, or is it just like they can get to a certain point in a certain thought process that helps them, but it's always going to be something there?
I believe that everybody has the capacity of change. Otherwise, I would not be doing what I'm doing. They have a capacity to change bad behaviors into good behaviors. I totally believe in that. You know, I'm wondering, are you asking, um, uh, can they be cured, or is there a cure?
Okay.
Um, when we define someone as having a mental health disorder or a chronic mental health disorder, they there are treatments, and those treatments treat the chronic disorder, meaning you always have the disorder, you
Mm-hmm.
just have the proper treatment and the symptoms are no longer there.
Mm.
They stay away as long as you adhere to treatment, whether that treatment be psychotherapy or medication or um, whatever the treatment is for the chronic disorder. You're adhering to that treatment to
Mm-hmm.
stay stable. But some
Yeah.
of these disorders, like major depression disorder, they typically they come back. We
Mm.
treat the symptoms. It's important to have realistic expectations when it comes to a chronically mentally ill disorder. It can come back, and a lot of times it does. However, it can be under control and stay under control with proper treatment.
Can you take me through two different things? One, like one of your patients that went awry, I would say that maybe it didn't go in the direction that you wanted it to, and maybe one that was the utmost success. Can you give me the two different areas?
Are you asking for two different examples
Yeah, excuse me. Yeah, so
of okay?
a patient that just your time with this patient didn't turn out, or the patient didn't turn out or get to where you thought they would or could. And then take me through one where the patient maybe got better than you thought that they could, or everything worked for them.
Hmm. You're a prime example of one of those patients who are one of the success stories. You happen to be very open. You were ready for the change.
Yeah, I was ready to tell everything.
You were ready for you were ready for the change, and that makes a difference. The outcomes are a lot higher and better for a person who is ready for change, who is willing for change, and who participates in their treatment. Not so for someone who is fighting it the
Mm,
entire time. You know, those are the ones who tend to fall off. They stop the treatment, and they may go and leave and then come back. And they're like, wait a minute, I went and did my own thing, came back. Now I'm back because I realized that, that was the wrong way. I was doing things all wrong, and now I'm ready. I get a lot of those
mm,
because I tend to speak um, in my treatment. It's how do I explain it? I speak facts. I speak the truth. I don't hold your hand.
right.
I'm going to tell you how it is. Tell you like it is, and I'm going to be truthful. You know, and most of my patients they appreciate that. And they remember that, and they remember the interaction and how straightforward I was during these sessions. And
Mm-hmm.
when they are not ready, they may come to me when they're really not ready,
Hmm.
and they may start treatment, but because they're not ready, they stop the treatment abruptly, and then they go on living their life, and then that wheel that they're on, that rat race that they're on, it just keeps going round and round and round and round, and they've gone nowhere. So
Mm-hmm.
guess what? They come back,
Absolutely.
and
Can
they're ready at the time that they come back, and then we just proceed, and typically uh, that's how it goes.
can you just and just no, I don't know if you can do it in a few words, but just say okay. Tell us about the different uh, diseases, quote unquote, that people can have, and like what are they? Like people don't even really know what things are, and they're saying what they have, and they don't even know what it is. Can you just help
Um,
with that?
I sure can. So depression, um, typically people don't they don't know that they're depressed. A lot of people they really don't know they're um, when they're depressed. I can give an example of myself. I did not know when I was depressed. No clue until I came out of it. And this was due to trauma, multiple traumas happening all within 1 year. Experiencing all of those traumas in 1 year, I'm just walking through life like on autopilot. I would go to work, come home, eat, spend time with my family. Uh, on Sunday, go to church. It was like I was on autopilot
Mm,
and not realizing the impact that all of the traumas that happened had on my psyche.
mm-hmm.
I didn't realize it until 5 years later when I came out of it. So some of the symptoms that were present was irritability,
Mm-hmm.
you know, issues with sleep, memory issues, PTSD. It it has a that's the card right there. You have a lot of memory issues because you are just walking through life, and then you may have these memories that take you out of the present, which could be flashbacks, or it just could be the negative memories of the trauma happening over and over and over again. But some of these symptoms I was experiencing, but not knowing what to call it, not knowing how of a negative impact that it was having on my day-to-day functioning. And not knowing that it was causing shifts in mood and problems with sleep, problems with energy. I thought I had a serious medical problem because I couldn't go to sleep or stay to sleep. All of these symptoms are in depression. You know, um, thank goodness I didn't feel hopeless, but a lot of people do.
Yeah, yeah, they do.
You know?
What
Mhm.
about
Anxiety,
Yeah, exactly.
anxiety, anxiety can be crippling. If it goes untreated, and it's bad anxiety and it goes untreated, it can fester into panic episodes. Uh, Problems with isolation because now you don't want to go around people and be around people. You know, anxiety can be very crippling. It can stop you from going outside. Mhm.
Mm,
So there are a lot of symptoms with anxiety, and that it zaps your focus and attention. You can't pay attention to save your life because you're so anxious. Then you think you have ADHD, and it
right.
might just be anxiety.
Right.
Yeah, so a lot of these symptoms they kind of cross over. Some of the symptoms that you have in depression are can be some of the symptoms you still see in anxiety and PTSD symptoms. Some of these symptoms uh, are present in other mental health disorders, and you may think you have one thing, and it might be something different. That's why a evaluation is important. Seek out the help that you need. Uh,
What about multiple personality disorder? How does
Now
that? Like,
that one, that's a old term, a
okay.
very old term. With as far as in the DSM-5, it is they have reclassified it. They don't say multiple personality disorder, but that is a severe mental illness. And in my experience, I worked many years at the sheriff department, um, running the psychiatric units at the sheriff department, and also heading the crisis stabilization unit at the sheriff department in the jails. And we manage some of the most complicated psychiatric disorders there. And I've seen some of everything. Um, you know, because the unit was a closed unit, and we ran that unit for about 8 years until we ran out of funding. Um, I was able to see what you would call multiple personality or changes, in someone as a result of a lot of trauma. Yeah. Mm. But that is something that I rarely really have seen. I've seen it a few times in my career, but those people who I've seen, they're now probably still at the forensic center. Um, yeah.
If someone, let's just say they're not even noticing these things in themselves, they're noticing these things in a family member, friend, someone close to them. What's a good way of trying to tell a person that they may need help, especially if it's your peer, somebody your age, they may, they may not take it well. So, how do you feel a person should address another person if they feel like they need help?
Well, that's a difficult for one for people,
Yeah.
because nowadays a lot of people don't want to overstep.
Hmm.
If it's a family member and you're able to have a real heart-to-heart conversation with that person, I find a lot of times people open up when when you open up. If you've had some struggles or whatnot, if you are able to open up to that person, it gives them the courage to open up.
Hmm.
Breaking down those barriers and those stigmas that are out there. If they know that they're not alone, sometimes that can be the motivating factor for
Hmm.
them, seeking that help. And sometimes they don't even know where to get it. If you can provide them with that information, that's always a plus as well.
Yeah, and that actually leads to my next question. If I'm listening to this interview and I'm feeling as if I need to seek attention, what do I do first? What are some steps to take? What do I search for? How can I keep it private as possible? Uh, what's a good way to go about seeking help?
Everything is on the internet now. You
Hmm.
can find help. Just you can on your phone. There's this psychiatrist near me. Psychiatry or therapy near me,
Hmm.
and you can come up with a list
Hmm.
of people to choose from to where you can seek that help that you need. Getting evaluation is the first step.
Gotcha.
A initial evaluation from a qualified medical or mental health professional is the first step. Mhm.
Can you tell us about the professionals and what they do? Because people just see doctor or just see the ist on back of the name and they have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
Can you
Yes,
tell us no?
sure. So, a psychiatrist or a psychiatric nurse practitioner can provide psychotherapy
Hmm.
or medication. Mm.
Okay.
A psychologist does the talk therapy, the psychotherapy only, just the talk therapy.
Hmm.
And then we have counselors or therapists that are right up under the psychologist, maybe a social worker
Mm.
or maybe a licensed professional counselor, and they do the therapy as well, talk therapy, and they may use all of the therapists are trained in different modalities of the therapy, whether that be cognitive behavior therapy or psychoanalytic therapy, different types of therapy that they may apply within their practice or within their scope of practice. They may have something that they typically go to. My style is more eclectic. I blend a lot of different types of therapies, and I use the medical model as well as the psychoanalytic model as well.
Hmm.
So those are the different ones. If you're seeking out medication, a psychologist can't prescribe medication. If you're seeking out psychotherapy and medication, then you need to see a psychiatric nurse practitioner or either a psychiatrist.
Got you. Good. Thank you. Because people have no idea.
Mhm.
All right, Doc. Before we go, can you let people know um, how they can be a part of what you're doing?
Mhm.
Um, how they can seek help through you?
So I own a practice called Infinity Hope Center. The location is in Detroit. However, I can see anyone in the state of Michigan because I can see you virtually. So if you live in the state of Michigan, I can see you. As my license is specifically here. You can reach us by calling 313-315-5145 or emailing at info@infinityhopecenter.com.
And I'll make
Or
sure I have that in the
yes.
make sure I put that in the description for everyone who wants to know that. Doc, I got so many more questions, but we're running out of time. I want you to lead the people with a voice coming from a professional, but not only a professional who, looks like most of the people who watch my show and, who walks the same streets, who lives the same type of life. What is the importance of people seeking mental health?
You're not alone. You are definitely not alone. If you could have the courage to come out and seek that help, there are people here who can help you. I always tell my patients, it's not just medication. I like to look at it as 33.333% is medication, 33.333% is psychotherapy, and 33.333% is you, your motivation, what you put into it. That's how you're going to be get to where you want to be the best you could be.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Thank you, Doc, so much. We so gratefully appreciate you coming on, sharing your information. It was so many questions that people were having that we just maybe couldn't answer and probably shouldn't have been answering per se. But I want to thank you for your professional advice. I want to thank you for your help in my life personally, and for anyone who's listening. And you need help, please seek Dr. Thompson, because she has the ability to not change your life. She has the ability to show you that you can change your own life. And that's the best part of it,
It's my pleasure.
Yeah,
My
thank you so
pleasure.
much. And I'm gonna leave y'all the same way I leave y'all every week. All that is a giant puzzle. And you are a authentic puzzle piece. You cannot fit into any other space. You must be yourself. Because if you don't fit in your space, all that is cannot be all that is. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week.
Check. 1, 2 for the mind state. Dez Cortez and Emory Law. Welcome to the show. Y'all tuned in now. Hit record, time to make it real. This that one show, mentally ill. We don't hide, we just chill. We say the kind of things that you feel. Raw talk from the couch to the curb. Every dark thought from the city to the burbs. From panics on Belle Isle, we even picking up calls. We unpack it all, no mask, no filter at all. Dez say, how you been? Low say, man, where I begin. From meds on the sink to nights you overthink. We drag it to the light, let it blink.
This is mentally ill. Say it out loud till it pop like the steel. We ain't running from the pain, we real. Every scar that you hide, we reveal. This is mentally ill. Talk that truth, let the shame stand still. If your mind feel heavy, just chill. Press play, pull up a chair, we heal.
talk therapy, thirst traps, breakups, rent. Family that judge how your time gets spent. Label crazy since you was a teen. Now you finally learn what that label mean. We laugh hard, then we low-key cry. Dead air when you search for a why. Trigger in a smell, story that you tell about that one night that still feel like hell. The same night that Dez went to jail. Every hard truth we credit, we said it. From locked doors to lady or trips, to shaking in your skin when the mood just flips.
This is mentally ill. Say it out loud till it pop like the steel. We ain't running from the pain, we real. Every scar that you hide, we reveal. This is mentally ill. Talk that truth, let the shame stand still. If your mind feel heavy, just chill. Press play, pull up a chair, we heal.
If you ever felt strange in a quiet room, felt your thoughts bloom into certain doom, let the stories in your headphones prove you ain't the only one stuck in that groove.